A hand slammed against the hood of the car as it screeched to a halt, rain splashing everywhere. The driver shouted, guards rushed forward, and the man who owned half the city stepped out into the light, eyes sharp with anger. The boy who had collided with the car staggered back, palms raised, breath shaking, not in apology, but in shock that he was still standing. People were already staring. The boy's name was Eli. He owned nothing. Not a phone, not a home, not even certainty that he would eat that night. He had been running because running was safer than standing still in places like this, and now he had run straight into the most powerful man in the city. The billionaire stared at him like a problem that needed solving quickly. "Check his pockets," one guard said. Eli laughed once, dry and bitter. "You won't find anything. Hunger doesn't leave fingerprints." The guards froze. The billionaire didn't look away. This was not how the night was supposed to go for either of them. An hour earlier, Eli had been counting steps instead of money, 112 steps from the closed bakery to the alley that smelled less like rot, 200 steps to the spot where leftover heat escaped from underground pipes. He measured his life in distances because time meant nothing when every day felt the same. He used to talk to himself to stay sane. Tonight, he was too tired. Across the city, the billionaire, Marcus Hale, had been signing documents that moved millions like chess pieces. People feared his name. News outlets loved him. Politicians returned his calls within seconds. He owned buildings Eli could never enter without being chased out. And yet, as Marcus stared at spreadsheets glowing in the dark office, all he felt was irritation and a dull ache he never named. He left the building late, as usual. No dinner, no goodbyes, just tinted windows and silence. And then Eli ran into his life. "Let him go," Marcus said suddenly. The guards hesitated. One looked confused. "Sir?" "He didn't steal anything," Marcus said. "I can see his hands." Eli lowered his arms slowly. Rain slid down his face, mixing with something that might have been relief or might have been exhaustion. "Say something," Marcus said. Eli looked at him fully for the first time. He saw the tailored coat, the watch that probably fed 10 families for a year, and the eyes that were used to being obeyed. And something snapped. "You look angry," Eli said. "Must be hard carrying all that money." One of the guards stepped forward. "Watch your mouth." Marcus lifted a finger. "No, let him talk." Eli swallowed. "I didn't mean to hit your car. I was just trying to get out of the rain. Funny thing is, rain doesn't care if you're rich or poor. It hits everyone." Silence stretched. Marcus had heard flattery, lies, begging, threats. He had not heard this. "Where are you headed?" Marcus asked. Eli laughed again. "Anywhere that doesn't ask questions." Marcus studied him for a long moment. "Get in." Eli blinked. "What?" "The car," Marcus said. "You're soaked, and standing here is making a scene." The guards exchanged looks. Eli hesitated. "This isn't charity, is it?" "No, it's curiosity." That answer scared Eli more than a no would have. Inside the car, warmth wrapped around Eli so suddenly his eyes burned. He pressed his hands together to stop them from shaking. Marcus sat across from him, watching without staring. "Name," Marcus said. "Eli." "Family?" Eli shook his head. "Used to have one." Marcus nodded once, like he understood more than he let on. They drove in silence for a while. Then Marcus spoke. "I own most of the buildings we're passing." "Congratulations," Eli said. "I've slept behind 3 of them." Marcus's jaw tightened. "Why?" "Because security guards don't check behind buildings as often," Eli replied. "You learn patterns when you're invisible." The word landed harder than Eli expected. Marcus looked out the window. Invisible. He had felt many things in his life, but never that. They stopped at a small, quiet restaurant that was still open. The guards wanted to clear the place. Marcus waved them off. "Eat," he told Eli. Eli stared at the food like it might disappear if he blinked. He took a bite, then another, faster this time, then stopped himself, embarrassed. "No rush," Marcus said. "You ever been hungry?" Eli asked suddenly. Marcus paused. "Once, a long time ago." "Did it change you?" Marcus didn't answer. They talked, more than either expected. Eli spoke about nights that stretched forever, about friends who vanished, about dreams that felt childish now. Marcus listened, really listened, and something uncomfortable twisted in his chest. When they were done, Marcus stood. "I'm offering you a job." Eli almost laughed. "Doing what?" "Work. Real work. Temporary. You show up tomorrow morning. If you don't, this ends here." Eli's stomach flipped. "Why?" Marcus looked him dead in the eye. "Because I don't give money to fix guilt. I give opportunity to test character." Eli stood too. "And if I fail?" Marcus said, "Then you leave with a full stomach and no illusions." Eli nodded slowly. "I'll be there." Outside, the rain had stopped. The city hummed like nothing had changed. But as Eli walked away with an address scribbled on a napkin, he felt something unfamiliar rising in his chest. Hope. If this story already has you hooked, don't forget to like the video and subscribe, because what happens next changes everything. And Marcus Hale watched the boy disappear into the night, unaware that inviting him into his world was about to dismantle everything he thought he owned. The next morning arrived faster than Eli expected. He hadn't slept much, not because he was comfortable, but because hope is loud when it hasn't visited you in a long time. He stood across the street from the address on the napkin, staring at a glass building so tall it seemed to cut the sky in half. People flowed in and out like they belonged there. Eli didn't feel like one of them. He checked his reflection in the glass. Same worn clothes, same thin face, same doubt. "Just walk in," he muttered to himself. "You've survived worse." Inside, the air smelled like polish and money. The receptionist looked up, eyes already forming a no. "I'm here to see Marcus Hale," Eli said quickly. "He told me to come." Her fingers paused over the keyboard. "Do you have an appointment?" "No," Eli said. "I have a test." She looked skeptical, then her phone rang. She listened, glanced at Eli again, then stood up straighter. "You can go up." Eli exhaled. Upstairs, Marcus was already in a meeting. He didn't acknowledge Eli when he walked in. Instead, he slid a folder across the table. "Sit," Marcus said. Eli sat. "This building employs over 600 people," Marcus continued, speaking to the room. "Most of them believe effort guarantees reward. That belief is fragile." The executives nodded, confused. Marcus finally turned to Eli. "Tell them what you told me last night." Eli's throat tightened. "About being invisible?" "Yes." Eli looked around. Suits, watches, clean hands. "When you're poor," he said slowly, "people look through you, not at you. You can stand right in front of them and still not exist." Silence swallowed the room. Marcus closed the folder. Meeting adjourned. When they were alone, Marcus stood. "You start today. No shortcuts, no favors." Eli nodded. "I don't want favors." "Good. You'll earn everything." The first weeks were brutal. Eli cleaned, organized, ran errands no one wanted. He showed up early and left late. People doubted him openly. Some mocked him quietly. One manager told him flat out, "You won't last." Eli said nothing. He just worked. At night, he returned to a small room Marcus had arranged temporarily. Not luxury, just shelter. Eli lay awake, replaying every mistake, every look of judgment, every small. Marcus's name was dragged through headlines. He lost allies overnight. And Eli watched the man who owned the city begin to lose it. One evening, Eli found Marcus alone, lights off, head in his hands. "You okay?" Eli asked quietly. Marcus looked up, eyes raw. "I built everything to avoid this feeling." "What feeling?" "Being alone," Marcus said. Eli hesitated, then spoke. "You're not." Marcus stared at him. Outside, the city buzzed, unaware that power was shifting in ways money couldn't control. If you're still watching, this is where the story turns dark before it turns right. Hit like and drop a comment, because what happens next is the real test for both of them. and neither man knew the final choice ahead would cost one everything and give the other more than he ever imagined. The pressure didn't ease. It multiplied. Sponsors pulled out quietly at first, then loudly. Meetings became colder. Invitations stopped coming. Marcus Hale, the man who once owned every room he entered, now felt the walls closing in. The city still bore his name on buildings, but the tone had changed. Respect had thinned into tolerance. Eli noticed before Marcus said anything. Security was reduced, schedules tightened, departments whispered. The air inside the building felt heavier, like everyone was waiting for something to break. One afternoon, Eli was stopped by a woman from compliance. "Be careful," she said under her breath. "They're looking for a fall guy." Eli nodded. He already knew who that would be. That night, Marcus called him in again. "You should leave," Marcus said, not looking up. Eli stiffened. "I thought we settled that." "Not like this," Marcus replied. "This is getting ugly. I can protect myself. I can't protect you." Eli stepped closer. "You didn't protect me when you gave me this chance. You trusted me." Marcus finally looked up. "That trust is costing me everything." "Then let it," Eli said, "because it already gave me something." Marcus studied him. "What?" "A future," Eli said quietly, "no matter what happens next." The next morning, the headline dropped. A fabricated report, anonymous sources, allegations of internal misconduct. Eli's name was mentioned, not directly accused, but positioned carefully, like bait. The board called an emergency meeting. "We need a clean break," the chairman said. "Fire him, publicly, distance yourself." Marcus sat silently while every eye watched him. "He came from nothing," another voice added. "No one will question it." Marcus stood. "No," he said. The room erupted. Marcus raised his hand. "If you want him gone, you'll have to remove me too." Silence slammed down like a door. The chairman scoffed. "Don't be dramatic." Marcus slid a document across the table. "I've already resigned." Gasps followed. Eli heard about it from the hallway. He ran. Marcus was packing his office when Eli burst in. "What did you do?" Marcus didn't stop. "What I should have done years ago." "You gave them everything. For me?" Eli's voice shaking. "For myself," Marcus finally faced him. "I never asked for this." "I know. That's why it matters." The building felt different as they walked out together. No applause, no cameras, just echoes. For the first time since he was a boy, Marcus Hale had nothing scheduled. Weeks passed. Marcus moved into a smaller place. No staff, no drivers. He cooked his own meals and failed often. Eli took on more responsibility, helping Marcus organize what remained. They talked more now about regrets, about fear, about what comes after power. One evening, Eli placed a folder on the table. "I've been working on something." Marcus flipped through it. "What is this?" "A foundation," Eli said. "Training, education, jobs, real ones, for people who never get seen." Marcus looked up slowly. "You wrote all this?" "I lived it," Eli replied. Marcus leaned back, eyes wet for the first time Eli had ever seen. "You don't need me for this." Eli smiled. "I know, but I want you." They launched quietly. No press, no speeches, just work. People came, skeptical at first, then hopeful, then determined. Eli led programs, Marcus funded without controlling. The city noticed, not the headlines, but the change. Months later, an investigation cleared Eli completely. The scandal unraveled. The board issued statements. Invitations returned. Marcus declined them all. One afternoon, Eli stood on a small stage, addressing a room full of people who looked like he once had. Nervous, hungry, invisible. "I won't promise you riches, but I promise you dignity and work and someone who sees you." Marcus watched from the back, hands in his pockets, smiling. Afterward, Eli found him outside. "You could go back," Eli said. "They'd take you." Marcus shook his head. "I already own what matters." Eli laughed softly. "Funny, that's what I was going to say." They stood there, watching the city move around them. Once, Marcus Hale owned the city. Now, he shared it. And Eli, who once owned nothing, owned his name, his future, and his voice. Sometimes the richest moment in life isn't when you gain everything. It's when you finally stop being invisible. If this story moved you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. Tell us which moment hit you the hardest. Stories like this remind us that one encounter can change everything, and you don't want to miss the next one, because the city is full of people who own nothing until someone chooses to see them.